6-yard line, 1st and 10. Quarterback Mike Baker brings him up to the line of scrimmage. Here's Baker, first man through. Big hole as the fullback. Brian Lim on the carry as Gary Tidball finally puts the stopper on him. But a good gain on the play as Brian Lim will pick up the 1st and 10 on the carry. Big hole up the middle that time for Lim.
Larry, they run out of a diamond T, which is really an inverted wishbone, and they just blew out our tackle and in on the right side, made a great gain there.
Jackets quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Here's the quarterback spinning, and it's going to be a handoff up the middle once again to the fullback Lim. He'll be stopped on the play by Brian Holter coming from that linebacker spot.
Brad Long on the carry.
And I have a discrepancy. I had number 12 scheduled to start for the Yellow Jackets, and it's
Second down, 7.
looks like Kevin Yarberry in there, Mike. We'll check them as they unravel the huddle. 2nd down and 7 facing the Yellow Jackets. Ball is on their own 20-yard line as they're up to the line of scrimmage. Full house backfield spin from the quarterback and keeps the play. It does give off up the middle, and just nothing doing as that Benton Panther defense stiffen on the play up the middle.
There we finally settled into our defensive set that we get into, and that time Adam Wright just stood the center straight up. And what our defensive tackles do is they will angle in on each play, and they angled in that time and allowed us to make the stop on the play with virtually no gain.
It'll be 3rd down, and the Jackets will need about 5 for the 1st and 10. Mike Baker is wearing number 17. That's the problem. It's 17 at quarterback Mike Baker. It is Baker. And movement on the line, flags fly. And let's see if the Jackets pull the Panthers off on defense. Big Adam Wright up there to move first. 8:17 left to play in the first quarter. No score. Home opener for the Benton Panthers for the 1990 season, coming off that great 1989 season and the 5-yard walk-off against the Panthers.
There, that should give them an automatic first down. They're going to have an official timeout to measure and see if it does.
That will spot the ball up near the 30-yard line, just shy of the 30. And they'll bring the chains in from across the way. Was the 3rd down and 5, and after the 5-yard walk-off, they want to take a closer look at it. As the official will stretch the chain out, 1st down, Sheridan. So Sheridan picks up the 1st down via the penalty as Brian Holter is checking in defensively for the Panthers.
I hadn't seen anything yet, Larry, that I'm excited about. We're just going to have to settle into the game and get used to who's playing who and get into our game.
So Baker brings them up to the line of scrimmage. Wishbone formation for the Jackets. Here is the quarterback, handoff to the fullback Lim once again, and Lim's out over the 30. He got to about the 32, and once again from linebacker Brian Holter making the tackle. But Lim will pick up close to 3. He will set up a 2nd down and 7. 7:50 left to play. First quarter, we have no score. It'll be 2nd down. Give Brian Lim a pickup of 5 on that previous carry. As the messenger from the Jacket sideline checks in the huddle with the play. 2nd down and 5. Ball on the Jacket side at their own 33-yard line. Baker split backfield behind him. Handoff goes to Lim once again and up near the 40-yard line on the carry. As a tackle made by John Brewer.
Larry, as we were talking about earlier, the secondary and linebackers have been making the majority of our tackles thus far in the ball game, and all that indicates is that the offensive line of Sheridan's doing a great job of blocking on the line of scrimmage. They're beating us right now on the line of scrimmage.
Another 1st down for the Jackets from their own 39-yard line. Once again, wishbone backfield behind Baker, the quarterback. He sets his offense. 1st down play, Baker spins. Quick pitch goes to the right halfback, and he's met hard as he comes across the 40-yard line. Brad Long on the carry, and Russ Browning got to him first on the tackle.
We played that ball there defensively as well as you can play. Our tackles pinched in once again and kept the guards from going out and blocking on our linebackers. And then as a result, our right linebacker then, Russ Browning, made a beautiful play and a good tackle.
2nd and 9 for the Jackets. Running room to the right side for Sheridan. On their own 41-yard line. Baker has them set. Wishbone once again. Baker calls for it. Handoff to fullback Lim. 45, 50-yard line. Knocked down just shy of the 50. Rick Daniel made the tackle, but once again, good blocking up front by the Jackets for Brad Lim on the carry.
Larry Holter's having another little conference down there with the referees. He's letting them know that somebody's holding him, and
He's not bashful, is he?
He's not bashful, and he'll have a peace conference with them about every other play if they're not careful. And this is something that last year they held Greg Mundy all night long. They didn't care how many holding penalties they got. So Sheridan will do anything to win this ball game.
3rd down and 1 from the Sheridan 49. Here's the handoff going to the halfback Brad Long, and Long is going to be stacked up. He'll be near that chain. We'll see where they spot it. Russ Browning, the first tackler to get to him for the Panther defense.
This is really good football right now. It's good football for Sheridan. It's not necessarily for Benton, but we are seeing that Benton's probably up against their most formidable opponent this year, because Sheridan right now is dominating the line of scrimmage.
It was a first down for Sheridan. The ball on the Benton side of the 50. Call it the Panther 49-yard line, and we have an official timeout as the Jackets get to the line of scrimmage. All right, Sheridan has taken a timeout. Timeout on the field, 5:49 left to play in the first quarter with the score. Benton nothing, Sheridan nothing. Panther football will continue in a moment. I can't hear a thing. You're standing you.
Is he bringing a radio?
Yeah, he's trying to. I think he called his wife. .549 left to play in the first quarter with no score. We have timeout on the field, and Mike, the Sheridan offense giving the Panthers all they can handle right now.
Oh, they're doing a great job up on the line of scrimmage. Their backs are running low and hard. Occasionally, Larry, on a couple of plays, our defense has done just what they're supposed to do, and we've been able to stop them, but we're going to have to make some adjustments in there, and mainly really what the main adjustments are, because we're familiar with their offense. We're just going to have to get in the trenches, and our boys are going to have to dig in just a little bit harder. That's the biggest adjustment to be made so far.
1st and 10 as the Jackets come up to the line of scrimmage, 49-yard line. Wishbone, handoff to Liam, the fullback, and he carries Panther tacklers with him to the 45-yard line of Benton. And speaking of adjustments, I've had to make some of my numbering system here, as Liam is wearing 33. Some number changes on that Sheridan offense. It was John Brewer that made the tackle for the Panthers. Call it the 46-yard line of the Panthers, 2nd down, and the Jackets need 5 for the 1st and 10.
Larry, let's watch on this next play. They might have made an adjustment at the timeout and see if Holter lines up and comes in on a blitz about every play.
We'll watch Holter at linebacker. Mike will do that. We'll check the offense on this 2nd down play. 2nd and long. Liam spins, and it's going to be a big hole inside the 35, down to the 31-yard line before Alan Bearden finally hauled him in near the Benton 32-yard line. Another 1st and 10 for the Sheridan Yellow Jackets.
John, Larry, you got to call a spade a spade. That time Brian Holter and Russ Browning both played to the ball, but their back was so conscious of what was going on, he cut behind his blocking and did a great job that time and just had all of our linebackers out of the play. So Sheridan's a very conscious football team.
No score, 1st and 10 at the Benton 32. Baker sets his offense. Man in motion to the right side. Handoff Long, big hole left side this time, inside the 25. Down near the 20 goes Brad Long. John Brewer finally got to him for the tackle, but Brad Long has had some big holes opened up for him tonight by that Sheridan offensive line.
Well, we're going to harp on it, I guess, until it stops, but Sheridan's doing a great job, and we got to give them credit. They're winning the ball game where it's got to be won, and that's up on the line of scrimmage.
Another 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line of Benton. 4:39 left to play in the first quarter as Baker brings his offense to the line of scrimmage. Wishbone offense. Baker sets him. Baker spins. Handoff. Long once again, and Long is going to get inside the 20 down near the 16-yard line before Dean Bird got to him. Our correction on the ball carry, that was Lim. Brian Lim. Yardage picked up to the Benton just shy of the 15-yard line. Sets up a 2nd down. Jackets will need about 5 for the 1st and 10.
Right down here, Larry, is where ball games are won and lost. When you get inside that 20-yard line, it becomes a completely different ball game. Both teams play with a different level of intensity.
Running room to the Jackets' right. Wishbone formation behind Mike Baker. Baker's handoff, first man through. A little bit of room, and they stacked up at about the 15-yard line and pushed back. Handoff went to the fullback, Brian Lim. And as they unpile, we'll see who gets up off the bottom of that pile for the Panther defense. Alan Bearden. in on the tackle. Holter and Wright also there for the Panthers. Ball spotted, nose of the football is just inside the Panther 15-yard line. It's 3rd down and 5, 3:28 left to play first quarter. No wideouts, wishbone formation for the Jackets. Baker sets them in that wishbone. Calls, spins, handoff, Lim. Lim's going to be stacked up just inside the 15, got it to about the 14-yard line before Russ Browning got to him.
Russ Browning did a real good job that time. He was blocked initially by the guard coming out on him, and Russ fought off the block, just stayed with his eye on the ball carrier, went out and made a great hit on the ball carrier. And it's got to have been a 4th down 3 position. I saw earlier in the warm-ups, they do have a young man that can kick a field goal.
And he is in there right now, Mike. Number 11 for the Sheridan is David Gamble, also their kickoff man. So the spot will be made back near the 19-yard line. A 29-yard field goal to Tim. Ball is up, and the kick is good. It got over between the uprights. And with 2:38 left to play in the first quarter, Sheridan has taken a 3-0 lead. Benton Panther football will continue in just a moment. Yeah. Pay Jackals. Back at C.W. Lewis Stadium, as Gamble has just kicked a 29-yard field goal to put the Sheridan Yellow Jackets out on top with 2:38 left to play. Gamble set to kick it off. John Brewer, the deepest back for the Panthers. The up backs Ian Perry and Pay Jackals. Gamble has it teed up at the 40, approaches the football. Here's Gamble's kick. High kick will come to John Brewer at the 11-yard line. John fumbles the ball for a minute. Back over the 15, cuts up the middle, and is hit hard shy of the 25-yard line.
Larry, this is a tough football game. I mean, there's a lot of hitting out there right now, and I'd like to make note that I don't believe I have seen a crowd like this in C.W. Lewis Stadium since last year at the when we were in the state playoffs. We've got the stands on both sides completely full, and people standing down in the end zone area there observing this ball game. It is really full here tonight.
It'll be 1st and 10 Panthers from their own 25-yard line. Panthers moving from left to right. They'll break the bone this time as they come to the line of scrimmage and go to the double wing set. Man in motion back is Rick Daniel, back to the near side. Collett will throw on 1st down to Daniel. He's got it at the 30, 35, knocked down at about the 37-yard line. Rick Daniel, the Panther big play man from last year, knocked down by Seitz for the Jackets, but a good gain on a 1st down pass from Brad Collett to Rick Daniel. 1st and 10 for the Panthers. Ball is spotted over the 35. Collett the 37-yard line.
That's a well-executed play there. They've actually got a lot of options on that play, and we'll go into it in a minute right after this play's over with.
Again, they'll come up in that double wing set. One running back, man in motion, back to the right side is Burton. Fake to the fullback, hand off to Burton on the inside reverse, and Burton is going to be piled up at the 35-yard line. Loss on the play as it was Joe Harris that met him hard back at the 35.
Larry, what happens on that play is our right offensive guard pulls out and is going to lead the ball carrier through the hole. And that time, number 43 for the Sheridan Yellow Jackets just eat our guard's lunch and come in and put Burton on the ground for a loss.
Loss on the play of 2. It is 2nd down and 12, under 2 minutes left to play, first quarter. Again, double wing. Here's the fake up the middle. Collett will throw, looks for Daniel. It's going to be overthrown and intercepted over near the sideline. Let's see, was he in bounds?
He dropped the ball.
Dropped the ball out of bounds as he was pass intended for Rick Daniel up over midfield. It falls incomplete. That'll stop the clock with 1:23 left to play in the first quarter. As John Brewer will check into the backfield for the Panthers. Rick Daniel checks out. Benton facing a 3rd down and 12, trailing 3-0 with 1:23 left to play first period. Panthers move from left to right as you listen. Double wing set. Brewer to the right side, Burton to the left side. Fake, Collett up the middle. Collett being rushed. Now rolls left, looks, he's in trouble, gets away from that. Collett the 40, the 45, and is tackled from behind up near midfield. Good job that time by Brad Collett as he was in bad, serious trouble.
That's exactly why Brad Collett is being recruited by many major colleges this year as a quarterback, and we hadn't had a quarterback recruited at Benton in a long time. You go back to the years of Tommy Hart and Jerry Moore and those guys, and that's the last time we had a quarterback recruited at Benton. But this young man right here just knows football. He knows when to and when not to, and made a great gain out of that.
Big third down play, picking up the first down on the Sheridan Yellow Jacket 49-yard line. Double wing, Ian Perry to the right side. Judd Fight at fullback. Brewer, motion, fake up the middle. Collett rolls right, keeps the ball, hit it about the line of scrimmage and falls forward for about a yard gain before Toby Seitz put the stopper on him at about the Sheridan 48-yard line with less than a minute left to play first quarter. Sheridan leads 3-zip on a 29-yard field goal by Gamble.
I'm going to venture to say that by the reaction of the Sheridan crowd over here on about every play, they remember last year's ball game too.
I'm sure they do, Mike. It was a dandy. Benton win 9-7. Benton leads the series. Double wing set once again. Daniel in motion, fake up the middle. Collett keeps right side, dumped at about the 46-yard line. Again, just a short gain for Collett. Justin Allen got to him for the Yellow Jackets, as that should be the last play of the first half. Under 10 ticks left on the scoreboard clock here at C.W. Lewis Stadium. Larry Hart along with Mike Woodall. Glad to be with you this evening. And that'll be the end of the first quarter with the score. The Sheridan Yellow Jackets 3 and the Benton Panthers nothing. Second quarter action of Benton Panther football will continue right after this 30-second break. Tell him I'm giving an extra 5 seconds after he gives it to me to make sure that everybody's clear.
How we doing?
I'm not sure. I'm not doing too well. You're doing great.
You're doing good.
We enter the second quarter of play as Benton has mounted a drive. They have it 3rd down and 7, though. Long play. Handoff goes to Burton. Burton's the running room inside the 45 and got it up to about the 40, across the 40 to about the 39-yard line, close to that first down marker, Mike. As Burton on the carry, good gain on the play. Joe Harris on the tackle. And they're going to spot it just inside the 40 at the 39-yard line.
They're going to go for a measurement on it. I saw the official that time when he came up and made the spot. He and a lot of the fans didn't see it, and a lot of times I don't take up for the official, but
not too often.
But Burton's knee did go down a little behind. We're about an inch short of a first down, and I think Dwight Fight right now will go for this. In fact, he's signaling, yeah, go ahead.
Early second quarter, 4th down and just about an inch to go from the Yellow Jacket 39-yard line for the Panthers. Burton is coming out of the ball game. 4th and short. 4th and just an inch for the Panthers. Sheridan leads 3-0 with 11:48 left to play first quarter. Judd Fight at fullback. John Brewer will be on the right side. Rick Daniel to the left side as they come up in that wing T set. Fight, the running back behind Collett. Quarterback sneak. Collett has the 1st and 10 at about the 38-yard line. Brad Collett on the QB sneak.
That was a great charge then by Bo Chaney, our center. He fired off the ball and drove the nose man, and the linebacker that was playing up close that time just drove him straight back and allowed Collett to get in there and gain about 1.5 yards where he needed about an inch. So it was a good offensive charge by our center and our 2 guards.
Bo Chaney, the 5'11", 197-pound junior, leading Collett to the 1st and 10 for the Panthers at the Yellow Jacket 38-yard line. Daniel and Brewer in the ball game on the wing. Collett, fake up the middle to Fight, play action pass. Collett looks deep down for Daniel. Daniel inside, cannot make the catch at about the 4-yard line. Crowd wanted a interference, correction. John Brewer was the intended receiver. Back covering was Toby Seitz for the Yellow Jackets. As 2 receivers on the right side that time for the Panthers, Mike.
That was real close as far as offensive or defensive. It could have went either way, and really not calling either one sometimes in that case is the best because their feet became entangled, and it's really hard to say who was at fault.
Panthers look at a 2nd down and 10. The ball at the Yellow Jacket 38-yard line. Wing formation once again. Brewer in motion. Brewer takes the handoff. Running room left side inside the 35 and piled up at the 33. Maybe got it to the 32-yard line before Michael Shelnut made the tackle for the Jacket defense.
And what we're doing, Larry, is we're executing our wing tee offense very well. Dwight Fight opened up with that wishbone, just ready to get his guys in the mood of the game and the feel of the game, and now he's gone to the wing tee, which really is going to be his main offense for the year.
It looks like they're executing that wing tee very well so far tonight. 3rd down and 4 for the Panthers. The ball at the Sheridan 32-yard line. Running room to the Panthers' right. Daniel and Brewer, the running backs in motion is Brewer. Here's a pass intended for Brewer, or Rick Daniel, the intended receiver at the 30-yard line, and Rick cannot hang on. It falls incomplete. That'll set up a 4th down, and the Panthers still need 4 for the 1st and 10.
Larry, I'm not sure John Graves is going in the ball game, but I'm not sure if he's coming in to attempt a field goal or just coming in to relieve one of the receivers. He's going to relieve Rick Daniels. They're not going to go for a field goal.
I started to say that'd be a dandy, wouldn't it? Line of scrimmage at 32. He's got the leg for it, doesn't he? Panthers go from the Sheridan 32, 4th down and 4. Graves on the left side in motion back to the far side. Running room to Panthers' right. Here's a pass over the middle, complete to Brewer. Brewer inside the 20, 1st down, Benton to the 18, maybe the 17-yard line.
That was tremendous. Tremendous football play right there, and a good call by Coach Fight and his staff. That's a quick release by Brewer off the right wing, and he just fades to the inside and gets into the zone there. And Collett just rears up and throws it to him. Brewer caught that ball really, it was going about 75 miles an hour, and I imagine his hands are numb right now.
1st and 10 at the Sheridan 16-yard line. Hold to the tight end to the left side. In motion, Brewer back to the near side. Handoff goes to Daniel. Daniel's inside the 15. Got it to near the 13-yard line before Jeff Hall made the stop for Sheridan. Just under 10 minutes left to play in the first half. Sheridan leads 3-0, but Benton is on the move.
What this offense adds to us, Larry, is that aspect of the game. Last year was just a wishbone offense in there on 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4. We had to just basically run the football, but it adds a passing dimension to it.
Bird and Brewer on the wings. In motion, Bird back to the near side. Handoff goes to Fight as Fight is going to bust it inside the 15. Got it down near the 10 before being stopped. As in on the play defensively for the Sheridan Yellow Jackets was Brad Long, and Brad Long's done a good job for the Jackets on defense.
Larry Judd Fight that time took a real hard lick on the right knee, and he got up limping just a little bit. He had that right foot planted solidly in the ground and got a lick on it, and that is a way to get a good knee tore up.
3rd down and 5 from the 11-yard line of Sheridan. Wing T formation, Brewer in motion back to the near side. Handoff, Daniel tries the middle, breaks one tackle, but he's going to be stacked up. Might have fallen forward for about a yard. Has not much doing to the right side that time for Rick Daniel. And on the play, Jeff Hall once again for the Yellow Jackets.
Rick Daniels was 2 steps too fast on that play. Had he have been just a step or two a little bit slower, that play would have developed into a long run. It looks like we're going to line John Graves up now for a field goal attempt.
Well, about a 28-yard attempt. The line of scrimmage is the 11-yard line. So Sheridan has kicked one. Gamble had one of 29. Now John Graves out of the hole. The Page Eccles will try one about 28 yards, maybe 27, Mike. Here's a snap, ball put down. Graves gets his foot into it, but it's going to veer off to the right and be short. Kick is no good with 8:18 left to play. The Panther drive stalls, and the Sheridan Yellow Jackets take over 1st and 10.
John Graves is very adequate, and I don't want to let that get his thinking down or the teams, but I tell you, Larry, a lot of times when they make a drive like they've done right there on that particular possession, and then we miss a field goal or we miss an opportunity to score, it has a tendency to get your offense down just a little bit. That humidity's awful high out there tonight, and they think we need to do it when we got a chance to do it.
Sheridan, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line following the attempt and miss of a 28-yard field goal by John Graves. Sheridan back on offense as quarterback Mike Baker brings them up. Wishbone formation for the Jackets. Spin, handoff goes to Lim. He tries the left side, breaks a couple of tackles, but nothing doing really. As the Benton defense had that one sniffed out and well played over on the left side. Maybe a pickup of maybe a yard, if that much.
Larry, for the folks listening and the ones that'll be viewing it later, Russ Browning played linebacker as good as it could be played that time. He focused in on the ball carrier, kept his eyes on the ball carrier, and he played off one block, and then our right defensive tackle contained the guard from coming out on him and blocking him. He made a beautiful play at linebacker. It was picture perfect.
pickup of a yard on that previous play. 2nd down and 9 from the 21 for the Jackets. Baker sets him, Weidman out, in motion to the near side. Handoff goes to the fullback, Lim, and Lim is going to have to fight for the yard that he gets. Maybe a yard and a half, but tried the middle of that Benton defense, and once again, the stop put on that play. Kobe Logan in on the play defensively for Sheridan.
There, what's happened is the offense was out on the field that time. Coach Fulcher and Coach Jones had his defense over here on the sideline and was instructing them on how to play this offensive scheme, and it shows that they have made some changes, and also they have changed their scheme of defensive play just a little bit.
Ball at the Sheridan 23-yard line, 3rd down and 7. Baker sets them, spins, quick pitch, right side, comes to Long, and Long is going to be piled up. Got it back to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be hit at about the 25-yard line. A pickup of maybe 2 before Brian Holter and Chris Barton came over to chase that play and snuff it out.
I got to talk about him just a little bit. He's one of my favorite guys. Brian Holter that time.
Mine too.
He had missile lock on the ball carrier from the very go. When the ball was snapped, he made his pursuit right to the ball carrier, and he never took his eye off of him. That was a great defensive play.
John Brewer back deep for the Panthers as Yellow Jackets in punt formation. Big rush put on, but the kick is a low driving kick. Brewer takes it at his 47 over the 50, breaks the tackle at the 45. On his feet, knocked out at the 41-yard line, John Brewer. So the Panthers will have excellent field position following that short line drive kick. As on the tackle was Shane Green. With 6:08 left to play in the first half. Benton trailing 3-0. Well, we had a low-scoring one in 1989 with Benton pulling out a 9-7 win, and this one is shaping up the same way so far here in the first half, Mike.
Well, it's every bit of what I thought it'd be. The first 2 ball games we played this year, they're always exciting when they're Benton Panther football, but when you get in against a team like Sheridan and the caliber players that they have and the kind of coaching staff that Sheridan has, you're going to see an altogether different football game, and that's what we're seeing tonight, a good, hard-hitting football game.
Line of scrimmage is the Jacket 41-yard line. Wing T, Burton in motion back to the near side. Handoff goes to Burton, running room inside the 40, on his feet inside the 35 before he's racked up at the 32 and pushed back. Tommy Burton on the run, and a good game before he was hit by Michael Shellnut and Mike Baker. Baker also the quarterback for the Jacket in there on defense. But a good game that time by Tommy Burton, the sophomore running back.
That's the caliber football player that every high school football coach wants. When he's a sophomore and he performs like that, the coach says, Lord, just give me 2 more years and let that boy be a senior, because he is a great, great athlete, even as a sophomore.
And stay healthy. 2nd and 1. Wing T formation, 2nd down and short. Spin, handoff, Burton right side. He's got the first down near the 25-yard line. Again, Tommy Burton, Kevin Yarberry in on the play defensively, this time for the Jacket defense. So 2 good runs in a row for the sophomore Tommy Burton.
What I like about him, Larry, and also Brent Black when he comes in the ball game, is the fact that they're sophomores, and even with the licks that they're taking out there tonight, they're holding on to that football. They grasp it with both arms and keep their mind in the ball game.
1st and 10 Panthers at the 25-yard line of Sheridan. Wing T, Daniel in motion back to the far side. Handoff, Fight breaks tackles, 25 on his feet inside the 20. As finally stopped as it was Terry Berry in the ball game. Terry Berry had checked in at fullback for the Panthers. He was on the carry, and another good gain for the Panther defense. As Dean Bird checks in the offensive backfield, Mike Baker made the play defensively for the Jackets. It'll be 2nd down, and the Panthers looking at about 2 yards needed for the 1st and 10. Burton and Bird on the wing. Collett sets his offense. Burton in motion back to the near side. Handoff goes to Bird. Bird's inside the 15. Fights his way down near the 12. Maybe got it to the 11-yard line was Dean Bird. Finally stopped after a hard run. Toby Seitz made the tackle.
Larry, when you're over on the defense with this offense that Benton runs, it's almost impossible to read where the ball's at if the quarterback's executing well. And Brad Collett is executing well and doing a great job back there of hiding the ball and making his fakes and then tucking the ball in and hiding it and then giving it to the ball carrier. So our offense right now is churning.
We have a timeout on the field with the score, Sheridan 3, Benton nothing. Panther football will continue in a moment.
I'm getting into this.
Huh?
I'm getting into this.
Oh, if we could hear.
Yeah.
I have to bend over, man. My back's hurt.
That's my dog. I guess. I hope nothing's wrong.
Carry. Larry Hart along with Mike Woodall. We are back at C.W. Lewis Stadium, 4:08, showing left to play in the first half with Sheridan leading 3-0, but the Panthers on the move once again. Panthers have it 1st and 10 at the Sheridan Yellow Jacket 11-yard line. As in there at fullback is Terry Berry. Daniel and Benton on the wings. First down play for the Panthers from the Sheridan 11. Handoff goes to Berry. Flags down as actually the pitch goes to outside to Rick Daniel. And Daniel is going to be spun out of bounds over on the far side, but flags all over the field on that play, Mike.
Larry, I didn't really see exactly what happened, but let me explain to the folks of a little problem we've had with this new offense. We have a man in motion. It is illegal procedure. We have a man that comes in motion, and if he moves toward the line of scrimmage before that ball snaps, it's going to be illegal motion every time. And that is something that we've got to work on, because just like right here, it's negated a beautiful play, and later on down in the season, it could easily take away a touchdown play from us. So that's something in this new offense that we've just got to perfect.
Brad made a great fake up the middle to Berry before pitching that ball out. It is 1st down and 15 from the Sheridan 16 for the Panthers. They move from right to left. Motion man Brewer to the near side. Collett wants to throw. Down the middle, has a man open, complete inside the 5, down to the goal line. As the tight end touchdown for the Benton Panthers, as Michael Grant made the grab just over the goal line. Touchdown Panthers with 3:57 left to play.
That's been coming, Larry. They just hadn't connected on it. Michael Grant he's a junior this year and is one of the best athletes on the football team. He almost reminds you of Scott Long back when he was at Benton in the way that he runs and handles himself. He's just not quite as big, but Michael Grant is a fine athlete, and he will be an asset to this team. And what I like about that is that Brad Collett looked off his first receiver and then threw to his second receiver. Just a great presence of mind as John Graves puts the extra point up, and the attempt is good, so it puts Benton up right now at 7-3 over Sheridan.
And 3:57 left to play in the first half. We'll take time in as Benton Panther football will continue right after this 30-second break.
Michael Grant is a football.
Hey, that's a nice grab. I couldn't tell if he's in or not.
Did you see Collett was looking over here to throw and then saw he was covered and went back.
He was wide open.
3:57 left to play in the first half. Benton has just taken a 7-3 lead following the touchdown pass from Brad Collett to Michael Grant on a great grab at the goal line. And as Mike mentioned, Brad Collett looked off that first receiver before going to Grant at the goal line for the touchdown. 3:57 left to play as Reed Kaufman. Looks funny to see Reed in that maroon helmet this year after seeing him all last year in that white one as a sophomore.
He ought to be a kicker, Larry. His daddy was one of the best kickers that's ever come through this high school that we've got over here. He was a great kicker.
Back deep is long for Sheridan as Kaufman will kick off. Has it teed up at the 40. Zach Wise, the deepest back for the Jackets. Zach Wise, the deep back. Here's a kick. It's veering off to the right side, far side, up to one of the up backs, over the 10, the 15, over the 20, some running room over the 25, out into the 27, maybe got it to the 28-yard line. As it was Joe Harris on the return, Alan Bearden downfield to make the tackle for the Panthers on kickoff coverage. Blake Jumper also there for the Panthers.
I tell you, Larry, they put these sophomores in here on these kicking games in order to give them some game time experience, and it helps because we're going to be losing a bunch of good seniors this year on both sides of the ball. So Coach Fight's trying to give them as much game experience as he can. 1st and 10 Sheridan from their own 27 is where the officials will make the placement. Wishbone formation. Handoff goes to the fullback Lim as Lim is out over the 30 to near the 32-yard line before he's stopped there by Dean Bird. So Brian Lim has been the workhorse tonight for the Sheridan offense, basically. Brian Holter also there for the Panther defense. Pickup of about 5 on the play for Brian Lim. It'll be 2nd and 5. Ball at the Sheridan 32-yard line. Just over 3 minutes left to play. First half, Benton leads 7-3 on a touchdown pass
to Michael Grant from Brad Collett. Wishbone, here's a play action pass. Baker wants to throw, getting chased. He's going to get away from one tackler in the backfield. Back to the 30, finally put down at about the 34-yard line. As the first to get to him for the Panthers was Dean Bird, along with help from Brian Holter. But he hustled out to about the 32-yard line.
Larry, what happened there is that Alan Bearden came across his defensive end to play containment and played it just exactly right and put the quarterback out of the pocket. So it was a good defensive play by the Panthers.
So another timeout taken. 2:52 left to play first half. It's Benton 7, Sheridan 3. Panther football will continue right after this 30-second break.
I'm pumped up, buddy. I am pumped up. I love this.
Sheridan's blowing off that line.
This is a good football game.
It is a good football game. Oh.
It's going fast.
Back at C.W. Lewis Stadium as the Panther defense on this timeout talking it over with 2:52 left to play in the half. 7-3 ball game, Panthers in front. When play resumes, 3rd down and 5 from the 33-yard line for the Jackets. Their own 33. Wishbone behind Baker as he sets his offense on a 3rd down play. He'll keep the ball as he fakes up the middle. Now pitches on the option and a great defensive play made back at the 30-yard line. As it was Chris Barton coming up in the secondary to make the tackle. Loss on the play back to the 31-yard line. And again, the Panthers will take timeout, Mike.
Larry, that is the time that you want your secondary to make the tackle, because what happens on that particular play is that the defensive end has got to play the quarterback. He cannot go out for the pitch man, because if he does, the quarterback will turn upfield and get a long gain out of it. And the way they played that time, Chris Barton came up from the secondary at the cornerback. He played the pitch man, and Alan Bearden played the quarterback perfectly, and as a result of it, they got a loss on the play. Great play by the defense. They played heads-up football there.
We'll keep it right here following this timeout. 2:44. Benton took the timeout to salvage some time on that clock as it's 4th down coming up, 4th and 6, following the great defensive play by Chris Barton. John Brewer will stand back at about his 35-yard line to await the punt, as in punt formation for the Yellow Jackets. We don't have a 39 on our roster. Here's the rush coming on. He barely gets the kick out of there. It's away from Brewer to the far side. He'll take it on his own 37-yard line in the middle of the field. Brewer is back over the 40 to about the 43-yard line before he's tackled by Tim Gartman downfield on the punt coverage for the Jackets. But pretty good field position for the Panthers, and still plenty of time on the clock.
Oh, there's plenty of time with an arm like Brad Collett's got. And I'm really anxious to see how we come out here if we do ball control with the wing tee, or if we try to get downfield with a pass real quick. I've stopped analyzing Dwight Fight because he's not coaching like he did last year. It's a little different in this wing tee, so we may come out here gunning at it. We got Brian Holter in at tight end there for the offense too.
Holter the left side. 1st and 10 from the 43-yard line, Benton side of the field. Play action pass. Collett drops back. He's being rushed, being chased, being sacked back at his own 35-yard line. As getting to him first was Shane Green, and that's a big defensive play for the Yellow Jackets.
Well, our offensive line, they're taught not to hold on a pass. They're taught just to contain with their arms out, and if you hold, you're going to get a 15-yard penalty. And let's give credit to the Sheridan defense that time. They hustled, stayed in the ball game, and got us behind the line, and their secondary covered our receivers well, so there just wasn't any place else for Brad to go.
Loss on the play back to the 35. Panthers face a 2nd down and 18. Wing T, John Graves to the left side, Brewer to the right side. Here's a play action once again. Collett drops back, throws down the middle to Holter. Holter's got it complete at the 48-yard line. Holter makes the reception at the 48, and he's dropped in his tracks right there by Brad Long with 1:34 left to play first half.
Number 17, the quarterback for the Sheridan that time, tackled Brian Holter. And I think when Brian got up off the play there, he looked at him and said, "Now listen, I'm Brian Holter, and you're going to have to learn that because I'm going to hit you every time I get the ball."
It is 3rd down. Benton facing 3rd down. They'll need about 4 for the 1st and 10 from just shy of their own 49-yard line. Brewer in motion to the short side. Pass to Brewer on the run. Caught 45-40. Knocked out of bounds inside the 40 up near the 37-yard line. Knocked out of bounds there by Michael Shelnut. But Brewer took that ball on the run as Collett led him perfectly.
Larry, what they do is and the advantage we get on that particular play with 1:08 left in the ball game is we freeze their linebackers by faking the ball with the play action, and it gets Brewer open out here in the flat. It's a good play to call in this type situation.
Running room to the Panthers' right. In motion, Dean Bird back to the far side. Here's Collett. He'll throw. He looks down the middle for Holter. Holter makes, he can't hang on at the 25-yard line. Holter had it in his hands, but he was hit and had the ball knocked away. It was Michael Shelnut defending for the Yellow Jackets. Incomplete. That stops the clock with 57 seconds left in the first half.
There, that ball was thrown on a shoestring for about, looks like about 28 to 30 yards there. Brad Collett is a fine baseball pitcher, and there again, that's the reason why he's being recruited by the college coaches as a quarterback.
Second down and 10 for the Panthers from the Sheridan 37. 57 ticks left on the clock. First half. Play action. Collett rolls right. Now pitches back to Rick Daniel. Daniel, the 35, turns the corner, knocked out of bounds up near the 30-yard line. The Sheridan 30. As Rick Daniel knocked out of bounds by Joe Harris, just ran out of room.
We're going to call a timeout right now, Larry, to try to get ourselves together and get some plays called before the clock runs out on us. We'll probably call 2 or 3 plays here in the battle.
48 seconds left to play in the first half. Benton 7 and Sheridan 3. Panther football will continue right after this 30-second break. Come on, stick it in there.
If Holter gets in there tight end, they're going to throw that.
I thought he had that last one, man. He had it.
That old boy did a good job
Yeah.
of getting to the ball.
Yeah, he stripped it. Whew.
We need to read this whenever we can.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
We need to tell them at the station. We hadn't told them at the station.
That's it. They'll know. 48 seconds left to play in the first half. Timeout on the field. When play resumes, Benton will have it first and 10 at the 27-yard line. 48 seconds left on the clock. Benton coming into tonight's ball game rated number 5 in the state with a record of 2-0. Coming off a 21-7 win over Arkadelphia. They lead here 7-3. Collett brings his offense to the line of scrimmage. Running room to the Panthers' left. Brewer in motion back to the wide side of the field. Fake up the middle. Collett looks down the middle. Throws to Grant. It's going to be intercepted by Sheridan back at the 10, 15, 20-yard line, and finally knocked down across the 20 at about the 22-yard line. As on the interception was, I believe, Kevin Yarberry. Brad Collett got down to finally put the stop with 37 seconds left in the first half. It was David Butcher on the interception for the Jackets. Ball just a little overthrown, intended for Michael Grant.
He just got too much on the ball that time, Larry, and it's misfortune because Brad Collett's a fine quarterback. That's going to happen to any quarterback. It happens to all of them.
Well, Sheridan has 28 seconds left to work with on the clock as Baker brings him up to the line of scrimmage. In the wishbone, Baker spins, handoff to Lim once again. Lim fights off a couple of tacklers and battles his way for some acreage over the 25. Got it to about the 27-yard line before Alan Bearden got to him. As that should be the final play of the first half. We'll have the Panther flashback coming up at halftime with Donnie Burks. That is the end of the first half of play with the score, the Benton Panthers 7 and the Sheridan Yellow Jackets 3. Back with halftime activities right after time in for this 60-second break. I'll do this when we come back, and then we'll go to him for flashbacks.
Yeah, we can. And I'll go over here and round up the staff.
Okay.
Has worked awful hard on and had a lot of trouble developing. And when you get junior high kids that develop it and learn it, and really they may not see the evidence of this until they get on up into senior high, but it is something right now that they're working on, and it's just going to take the junior high a little longer to develop it.
And we'll be back with the second half kickoff. Right now, let's take time in for this 60-second message. You're going to get switched back around here. I think we're tangled.
How you doing?
Phew. They flew out. They just flew right out. Mike's fixing to read them. Zap. Okay, remind me to do this our first break.
Okay.
Just hit me in the arm, and I know what you mean.
Okay. One of my old high school girlfriends come up here a while ago.
Huh?
One of my old high school girlfriends came here a while ago. Do what now? Larry, what do we need here to hook this up?
No, I don't think so. Just this.
Attention, please. Just a minute.
Okay.
Car license number LMG336. We need you to move your automobile.
We're just about set for second half action. Our score at halftime is Benton 7 and Sheridan 3. Sheridan won the toss to open up the ball game, and they deferred to the second half. Co-captain's on the field right now, so we'll see if Sheridan will take that ball. As Mike mentioned during the halftime, Sheridan had a good drive against the Panthers. They stalled out, settled for a 29-yard field goal to take a 3-0 lead, and then the Panthers came back on about a 27-yard pass. Collett to Grant, with the point after by John Graves to make it 7-3. That's where we stand at halftime with 24 minutes of great high school football action left. Hope you're enjoying tonight's contest, and if so, let our sponsors know. Well, Mike, what do you look for Sheridan to come out with here offensively in the second half? More of the same or put the ball up more?
I tell you, Larry, I don't believe they'll change their scheme a whole lot simply because they have been somewhat effective against Benton. And, of course, also keep in mind of one thing, that if Benton makes their adjustments at halftime like they should, then they should stop Sheridan because they do have the defense to do it. The thing that I look for mainly is the Sheridan Ball Club, where they've been running the ball on third down. They will go more to passing the ball on third down because they've got to. They've got to do that to stay in the ball game. But we're getting ready now for the kickoff of the second half.
Sheridan will kick off to start the second half. Panthers move from left to right as you listen as David Gamble has it teed up. John Brewer, the deepest back for the Panthers, back there with Ian Perry and Paige Eccles for Benton. 7-3 Panthers lead. Gamble approaches the football. We're underway in the second half as a wobbly kick will come to Eccles back at the 14, over the 15. Eccles the 20, up the middle of the field, over the 25, and up near the 30 goes Paige Eccles on the carry. Good return by Paige.
Real good return by Paige. Paige, of course, is a sophomore, and he was the sophomore last year that engineered the offense for the Warriors in their championship season, and Paige did a great job. They're wanting Paige to get some time in because if Collett goes down, in fact, we've got a 15-yard penalty there on the kickoff. It's going to help Benton. We'll wait for the call to see what it is, but
it is a major 15-yard walk-off.
Face mask.
So a face mask call. It goes against the Yellow Jackets, and that gives the Panthers excellent field position to start their first drive, first possession here in the second half. Ball spotted at the Panther 44-yard line, 1st and 10. First down play, they come up in the wing T. Judd Fight is at fullback. In motion, handoff goes to Fight up the middle, and Fight finds a bit of running room. He's out over the 45, got it to about the 47-yard line before Benji Forte knocked him down. Just straight up the gut that time for Fight. Just underway here in the third quarter. Spot the ball at the Panther 47-yard line. It'll be second down and about 7 needed for the 1st and 10 as John Graves will check in. Tommy Burton will come out of the ball game on the Panther offense. 7-3 Benton lead, just underway second half. Collett brings his offense to the line of scrimmage in that wing T. Graves is to the right side. Fight the fullback, the lone running back in the wing T, and motion Brewer. Back to the near side, handoff Fight. Left-hand side behind left guard, left tackle. And Judd Fight is into Yellow Jacket territory to the 49, maybe got it to the 48-yard line before he was stopped there by Donnie Holloway.
Larry O'Judd takes that handoff, and I mean, he puts both arms around it, and he realizes that his main job is a 3-4 yard gain. Now, what happens there, though, is that if he breaks into the open, you'll see him tuck that ball under one arm and give it all he's got. But he's getting a lot of hits inside, but he's staying up and it's taking about the 4th tackler to bring him down.
Third down 3. Panthers just inside the Jacket 49-yard line. Graves in motion back to the far side. Handoff goes to Rick Daniel. Daniel jumps over a couple of tacklers and dives down to about the 46-yard line before Kevin Yarberry wraps him up there. It will be short of the yardage needed for the 1st and 10. The ball spotted at the 46-yard line. May want to take a closer look at this one. Chains across the way, and they will bring them in for the closer look. As Brad Collett walks up to the ball, he wants to get his eyeball on it too. Clock is stopped with 10:23 left to play in the third quarter.
Larry, I noticed on that last play there that Steve Wood and Michael Moore were going back to the huddle talking to one another. We had just a little bit of a mix-up in our offensive line blocking that time, and we've got about, it looks like about a foot or foot and a half to go for a first down. So I tell you, when that line's talking to one another like that, though, they correct their own mistakes out on the field, and that's smart football.
4th down and short, and it looks as if the Panthers will go for it again. It is 10:23 left to play, third quarter. 4th down and about a half yard needed for the Panthers as Collett brings them up. Dean Bird in the ball game on the right wing. Quarterback sneak, a little trick play there as the lineman, nobody moved but the center and the quarterback as Collett on that sneak, a bit of a trick play, picks up the 1st and 10. As caught Sheridan napping on that one, didn't they?
Yeah, Bo Chaney did a good job. In fact, that play is designed exactly for that purpose, to leave all of the defense out of the play other than the nose man and the quarterback in the center. And Bo Chaney did a good job of firing out that time. And I believe we've got it, but they're going to go ahead and call for a measurement just to make sure.
Looked like he had it by a fairly good bit, but they want to take the measurement, so the chains once again will come in across the way. Knows the football is just shy of the 45-yard line as they stretch it out. They should have it. Yeah, easy. First down, Panthers, just shy of the Jacket 45-yard line. Coming down toward the 10-minute mark to play in the third quarter. Benton 7, Sheridan 3. Sheridan took the lead on a 29-yard field goal by David Campbell. Panthers 1st and 10, just shy of the 45. Moving from left to right. Wing formation, double wing formation. Collett calls for the football. Brewer in motion. Brewer will take the handoff. He'll reverse to Daniel. Big hole right side. Rick, the 40. Rick Daniel, the 35. Knocks down one of his own players at the 30. On his feet. And finally brought down, knocked out of bounds near the 20-yard line. Great run by Rick Daniel as he ran up the back of one of his offensive players.
That was the reverse in the backfield in by the 2 wing backs. You get the first wing back in motion, which was Brewer at that time, and he come over and handed off to Rick Daniels. And also what helps confuse complete line, our complete offensive line goes in 2 or 3 different directions. Great run by Rick Daniels. He ran over about 4 people to make that run.
Ball spotted at the 18-yard line. 1st and 10 Panthers. They have running room to their left. Double wing formation. Collett has them set. Brewer in motion. Spin, handoff Brewer, big hole left side. Brewer inside the 15. And down near the 12 goes John Brewer before he's stopped by Brad Long.
Let's give credit to the offensive line. You know, when the offensive line blocks, it makes great backs. And on that left side there is Scott Rivers at tackle and Reed Kaufman at guard and Michael Grant at tight end. They did a great job that time of clearing a hole out for the running back.
Panthers to the line of scrimmage, face a 2nd down and 2. Ball is just outside the 10-yard line. Collett sets him in that double wing. And Perry in motion. Handoff goes to Berry as he is going to pile his way down inside the 10-yard line. As it was Terry Berry on the carry, stopped by Michael Shelnut. But a good gain on the play by Berry. It'll be first and goal for the Panthers. Our correction, 2nd down. Ball is spotted at about the 6-yard line. 2nd down at the 6. Our correction, I was right to begin with. It is 1st and goal, as that was a 1st down carry for the Panthers. 1st and goal at the 6. Collett brings them up wing, double wing. Brewer to the right side. Berry remains at fullback. Fake. Handoff goes to Brewer. Right side over the Dean Bird. Touchdown! Dean Bird spun off a couple of tacklers to the right side after a big hole. Goes in for the TD from 6 yards out.
You can't run the wing T any more perfect than what Benton has on this possession, Larry. It was an absolute perfect execution on each and every play and did a great job. John Graves is coming in now to attempt the point after touchdown, and you know, John has only missed one, and that was his very first one of the year, and then missed one here tonight earlier.
John will kick out of the hole to Paige Eccles. Snap from center, whistle on the play before the play is underway. John gets his foot into it and kicks it about a half mile outside the stadium, but a flag on the play.
Looks like it's going to be offside. I believe he called it against Sheridan.
Sheridan reacting as if it might be.
I believe we can decline that. It's a dead ball foul.
Dead ball foul, Offsides is a call against Sheridan, but a dead ball foul, so that'll put it about a yard closer for John Graves. Shouldn't have any problem with this, knock on wood.
I don't think, he won't have any problem on distance, I know that.
For sure. Again, out of the hole to Paige Eccles. 13-3 Benton lead. as John Grace tries to add the 14th point, and he does. Timeout on the field with the score, Benton 14 and the Sheridan Yellow Jackets 3. Following message is brought to you as a service of the Benton State Bank. This year, the Benton Panther Booster Club has instituted a brand new level of support for the Panther athletic programs. It's called the Maroon and Gray Club. Its purpose is to provide financial support and scholarships to Benton student athletes. The community response to this Maroon and Gray Club so far has been tremendous, but there's still much room for you if you have not joined as yet. The deadline to become a charter member of the Maroon and Gray Club is Monday, October the 8th. Charter members' names will be permanently placed on a plaque in the Benton Fieldhouse. For more information, contact Gary and Debbie Arnold, Dan Yoakum, or the athletic director, Dwight White, and do that before October the 8th. 14-3 Benton lead following a 6-yard touchdown run by Dean Bird, and it was a thing of beauty, one that you'll want to watch on the playback on Falcon Cable on Sunday night.
That was a beautiful play. That when they get that offense executing like they're supposed to execute it, it's just hard to stop it. We've got Reed Kaufman now about to kick off to the Sheridan Yellow Jackets.
Michael Shelnut, the deepest back for the Yellow Jackets. 8:37 left to play, third quarter. Reed Kaufman is set. Gets his foot into the football, a good kick. It will come to Shelnut. He'll take it just inside the 10, up the middle of the field, 15, 20, 25, and Shelnut is wrestled down at about the 27-yard line. Is downfield on the coverage as Paige Eccles, and I say wrestled down, I mean it.
He hit him right head on, and I mean Paige didn't give an inch. The Sheridan Yellow Jacket running back, when he hit Paige, he felt like he had hit a brick wall there. Paige is not very big, but he's a very tough young man, and he showed his ability right there that he can play football.
Ball will be spotted at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets as Baker brings his offense to the line of scrimmage for the first time here in the second half. Wide men out to the right. Split backfield behind Baker. Baker spins. He'll hand off to Lim, the big fullback, and he'll get yardage out over the 30 to near the 32-yard line. As getting up off the bottom of the pile was John Brewer defensively for the Panthers. That was Long on the carry for Sheridan. But a good gain for the Sheridan offense on a first down play will set up a second down. Ball is spotted out over the 30, near the 31-yard line. Second down and about 3 needed for the 1st and 10. Second down and 3 for Sheridan. Split backfield, handoff to Lim. Some running room right side. He's over the 35, up near the 37-yard line. Grabbed there by Russ Browning. But a first down carry for Lim and the Jackets.
Sheridan hadn't changed anything, Larry. They're running the ball, executing the ball exactly the way they did in the first half. And really, when you're moving the ball 3, 4, 5 yards on every running play, there's not any sense in putting it up in the air and taking a chance on an interception. But they are running the ball very well right now.
Checking in offensively, David Willingham for the Yellow Jackets. Willingham will go wide to the right. Split backfield once again. First down play for the Yellow Jackets. Play action pass. First down pass is going to be wide open over the middle at the 50. It's grabbing the ball. David Willingham makes the reception. He had just checked in with the play from the lineup of the bench. Gary Tidball made the play defensively, but a first down for the Yellow Jackets. Benton territory at about the 48-yard line.
We can sound real smart and say right now that that's the adjustment they made, that they're going to pass the ball on first down. That time they had a split out to the right, and he just angled in across the middle, got in the zone, and the Sheridan quarterback made a good pass, and it was reception for another first down. 1st and 10, Sheridan at the Benton 48, back to the wishbone. Offense set for Baker. Baker calls for the football, spins. Handoff goes to Long, and Long is going to be piled up as he dives forward behind the left side of his offensive line to about the 45-yard line.
Lim on the carry.
Bowen there to get him, as Lim will be stacked up at about the 46-yard line. Bowen in on the play defensively for the Panthers. 6:40 left to play, third quarter. Clock running. Benton leads 14-3. Jackets look at a second down and 8 from the Benton 46.
Matt Bowen's not a very big young man in that right defensive tackle, but he's awful quick, and last week had the best game that he's had thus far this year.
Kevin Yarberry goes wide right. Coming out wide to the left is Shelnut. Man in motion. Handoff goes to the first man through. That is Long, and Long battles his way down to the 40. A flag down on the play as Long is dropped at the 40. Russ Browning on the tackle for the Panthers, and flags down across the way.
It's going to be a procedure penalty against Sheridan.
So wipe out the gain by Long on the carry. That'll cost the Yellow Jackets 5, and set the ball back closer to their side of the field. They'll still be in Benton territory following this 5-yard walk-off.
5-yard penalty against
Well, actually, the ball will be set back on the Jacket side of the field at the 48-yard line. Illegal motion is the call. So it's second down. Ball spotted at the Sheridan 48-yard line. Jackets need about 13 for the 1st and 10. Running room to the Jackets' right. As going wide to the right side is Joe Harris. Back split behind Baker, the quarterback. 2 tight ends. Baker, play action, throws on first down again. It's going to be almost intercepted over on the left side by Ian Perry. Ian almost had an interception on that one at the 35-yard line.
There was 3 things that happened on that play. First of all, the offensive line on the right side for Sheridan broke down and allowed our end and our tackle to penetrate, and the Adam Wright just tore the center's head off and come through and got to the quarterback just as he threw the ball. And Brian Holter tipped the ball out here, and we almost had an interception then by Ian Perry in our secondary. It would have been a big break for Benton right now to take the wind out of Sheridan early in the 3rd quarter.
It is 3rd down and long, 3rd and 13 for the Jackets. They're on 48. Wide receiver to the right side of the field. Backfield behind Baker. He spins. Play action. He's being chased by Bird. Wrapped up by Bird on the loss. Back at the 45-yard line. Dean Bird got to him and dropped him for the loss. Back inside the 45, and a heads-up defensive play by Dean.
That was a great play. Dean plays right defensive end, and he just came straight across the line, and nobody really blocked him. And what that play is designed by Sheridan to do is for the defensive end to be unblocked, but he's supposed to take the fake. Dean didn't take the fake, and he got the quarterback for a loss.
Line of scrimmage, the 44-yard line, 4th down. Sheridan will punt it away, as it looks like Benton is going for the block on this one. John Brewer back in a single safety for the Panthers. Here's the snap coming from the outside. The big rush put on an end-over-end kick, taken by Brewer at his 31. Sidesteps one tackler. Brewer slips and falls at the 35-yard line. He was covered there. Downfield on the coverage for the Yellow Jackets was Shane Green. But actually, John just slipped and fell at the 35-yard line.
Boy, Larry downfield right here when John made his first cut, number 82 for Sheridan. I'm not sure who he is, but he turned his ankle just about as bad as you could turn an ankle. He's staying in the ball game, but he's having a lot of trouble with it.
1st and 10 for Benton at their own 35-yard line. 5:10 left to play, 3rd quarter. Benton leads 14-3. Benton basically has been in that double wing all night. They came out in the wishbone early, but since then it's been that double wing. Handoff, Judd fight, left side, breaks tackles, Judd the 40, and finally piled up over the 40 at about the 41-yard line. Judd fight on the carry before he stacked up. Play made defensively for the Yellow Jackets by Michael Shellnut, as Dean Bird and Brian Holter will check in the Benton offense. 4:44 left to play, 3rd quarter. Benton with a 14-3 lead.
That first man that makes contact with Judd Fight, he just feels like he's been hit with a brick bat. That young man's very strong, and he runs as solid as any back we've got on our team.
Panthers look at a 2nd down and 6 from their own 40. Double wing tee once again. Burton back in the ball game for the Panthers. In motion, Bird. Handoff, Bird, right side, big hole, 45, and spins his way up near the 47-yard line.
Well, he lost about 4 yards there with the spot, Larry. They're going to bring him back. I did not see his knee go down, but the referee's down there where he can see it better than I can. But that was a good run. That's the same play they scored a touchdown on just a little bit ago.
It's still a 1st down carry for Dean Bird at the 48-yard line, but as you said, he spun over the midfield stripe. But the ball brought back to the Benton 48, 1st and 10. Coming down toward the 4-minute mark, left to play, 3rd quarter, double wing with Burton and Bird, the backs. Burton in motion, near side. He'll take a pass. It's going to be incomplete. Little quick out pass intended for Tommy Burton at about the 50-yard line. Thrown just a bit behind Tommy. He couldn't haul it in.
He just couldn't hold on to it. He had to turn around for the ball, and really took a vicious lick after the ball went by him. But what we missed on that play is, and Brad's got all these options to do this if he wants to, but Holter at tight end that time had broken into the clear down here. He was being covered by number 82 that's got the hurt ankle, and imagine Holter went back and told him he was wide open.
Holter remains tight end left side. Grant tight end to the right side. Double wing formation. Graves in the ball game in motion. Fake goes to Graves, rolling out right. Brad Cullen in trouble, gets the pass away, intended for Holter, but he was hit just as he got rid of the football, and had a flag or a towel down. Here's a flag down on the play as Brad was hit hard just as he delivered the football.
It's going to be holding against Benton, Larry.
But a major penalty coming up against the Panthers with 3:54 left to play in the third quarter, and a holding call, it appears, going against Benton. So that'll cost them some good field position. As that is a good thing, that pass had a good chance of being intercepted.
It did have a good chance of being intercepted, and really Brad threw the ball sooner than what he wanted to, because our pass receivers really hadn't run their full pattern that time, and it's hard to see whether they were going to break, but Brad had to get rid of the ball or take a loss.
Ball moved back to the 32-yard line, so Benton looks at a first down, or the second down, and 25 needed for the 1st and 10 from their own 32. Official timeout for just a moment now. Time back in. In motion. Right side, Bird. Fake up the middle to the fullback. Collett being pressured, being rushed. Rolls to his right. Is going to be sacked back at his own 20-yard line. He was wrapped up by 3 Sheridan defenders. Jeff Hall leading the way for Sheridan. Collett getting up a little slowly, but I think he's okay. Back at his own 20.
Larry, our offensive line just broke down that time. All 3 of the players that came in and made the tackle are the interior line for Sheridan, and their nose man and both their defensive tackles. So give them a lot of credit. Their defense came in, hustled that time, and made a big sack on Collett.
Spot the ball at the 22-yard line as Rick Daniel will check in with a play from the sidelines. Third and a long ways to go for the Panthers. Third down, the Panthers need close to 35 yards for the 1st and 10. Late third quarter, Panthers lead 14-3. Double wing with Brewer with the Bird. And a reverse play goes to Daniel. Daniel, 25, breaks the tackle, but knocked out of bounds up near the 30-yard line. As Rick Daniel looks like he's not running at full speed, and he's getting up slowly after that tackle.
Rick Daniel's not running at full speed. In fact, he's favoring a knee right there pretty bad. That would be a very, very costly injury for the Benton Panthers, because Rick Daniels has got so many things that he can do, and he just adds so much to this football team.
So Brian Holter will be in punt formation for the Panthers. Lim back deep for the Yellow Jackets. Line of scrimmage, the Benton 32. Holter waits on the snap. It's a high snap. Holter hauls it in, gets the kick away. It's a wobbly kick. It will be taken by Lim at his own 34-yard line. 35, back up to the 40, knocked down over the 40 at the 42-yard line. Downfield on the coverage for the Panthers. And getting up off the bottom of the pile was Michael Moore. Lim on the return as Michael Moore made the tackle on the coverage. But the Jackets go with decent field position now. They're on 42-yard line with 2:58 left to play, third period. Panthers out on top 14-3 after falling behind 3-0 in the first quarter. Panthers led at halftime 7-3. Line of scrimmage, the Sheridan 42-yard line. Late third quarter, Jackets move from right to left. Full house backfield, wishbone behind Baker. Baker spins, handoff goes to the left halfback as battling his way for yardage. Ball carrier was Joe Harris, finally knocked down by Brian Holter, as Harris on the carry up near the 43-yard line.
I tell you, Benton does a lot of misdirection with their offense, but Sheridan does a whole lot of it themselves. They can have everybody going one way and the ball be going the other. So this is a ball team and an offense that you just got to keep your head in the ball game, because if you get out of it for just a little bit, Sheridan will break a big gain on you.
Second down and 8 for Sheridan at their own 44-yard line. Clock running, just down over 2 minutes left to play. Wishbone, Baker spins, Baker hands off and piled up at the line of scrimmage for no gain and pushed back at about the 45-yard line. It was Brad Long. Defensively for the Panthers, it was Dean Bird and Matt Boyd, and they gave Long no place to go.
Dean Bird and Matt Boyd that time played right end and right defensive tackle as well as you can play it. Both of them stood their offensive blocker up and just beat them right at the line of scrimmage, and then made the tackle for virtually really no gain on the play. And it's third and long. I would anticipate right now that Sheridan's going to throw the ball.
Football just shy of the Sheridan 45-yard line. They have running room to the right side. Wishbone behind Baker. Baker sets his offense. Third down play action pass. Gets away from Holter coming in from linebacker. Now rolls left. Looks downfield, and it's going to be tripped up and knocked down at about the 50-yard line as Kobe Logan just kind of slapped at him and knocked him off balance, and he falls at about the 50-yard line.
I tell you, Adam Wright that time did a great job then of staying on his feet and getting blocked at the line of scrimmage initially, but staying on his feet and coming out and containing the quarterback and making him try to run with the ball. I was talking to Max, his grandfather, in here a while ago, just before the ball game started, and Max said Adam's really having a lot of fun this year, and that's what this high school football is all about, is having fun.
Absolutely, and he's filling some big shoes rather well tonight, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Fourth down play as John Brewer back deep for the Panthers. Here's a snap, rather low. Bird comes in from the right side, but the punt is away. Nice punt. Taken by Brewer at his own 18. Brewer right side, wrestled down about the 26-yard line and going out of bounds. Downfield on the tackle for Sheridan was Shane Green, who's had a good game for Sheridan, Mike.
Larry, he has had a good ball game for Sheridan tonight. I'd like to make mention to folks that John Brewer's playing about at 75%. He's got an ankle that he's having to wear a real tight brace on tonight. He injured it last week when he turned it, and I tell you, to run punts and kickoffs back with a sore ankle is a pretty big job.
27-yard line, the line of scrimmage for the Panthers, and this should be the last play of the third quarter. One more play, barring a first down pass. And that's not completely out of the picture this year for Dwight Fight.
No, it isn't.
Goes to Burton, left side, big hole, 30, 35, 36, 37-yard line. Finally wrestled down there. Tommy Burton would not go down.
You don't think he's a sophomore by the way he runs that football.
Sure don't. That's the end of the third quarter on that run by Tommy Burton with the score. Benton 14, Sheridan 3. We'll be back with the final quarter of action as Benton Panther football will continue in a moment. That kid can run, man.
Oh, yeah. He's a good football player.
How big is he?
Well, he's about 6'2" and weighs 195 pounds.
That's the size. I shouldn't be doing this.
Why
I'm going to be wanting to do it next week. Larry Hart along with Mike Woodall back at C.W. Lewis Stadium as we enter the fourth quarter of play with Benton leading 14-3. Panthers have the football at their own 37-yard line, and that was a first down pickup on that last carry of the third quarter, Mike.
Larry, it was, and a great run by Tommy Burton. He just went through about 3 or 4 tacklers, and then he carried about another 3 or 4. He had great line blocking. Initially, the play was executed very well, but Tommy Burton got about 4 or 5 yards on his own sheer strength and determination.
Strictly on his own. First to 10 Panthers, they're on 37-yard line. First play of the final period coming up. Berry is back into fullback as Collins brings his offense up in that double wing. In motion, Bird. Handoff, Berry. Berry is hit hard as he comes across the line of scrimmage. Fights forward for a couple of yards before he's stopped by Seo Vang. Nose of the football spotted just shy of the Benton 40-yard line, so call it second down and a pickup of about 2 for Berry on that carry.
Larry, we might make mention that Brian Holter's playing tight end tonight. Normally when we go into a double tight end situation, Brent Black is playing tight end, but he's got a real injured foot, and they're trying to let it rest a little bit to get him ready for next week.
Holter to the left side, tight end. Grant to the right side. Graves in motion. Handoff to Graves. Graves left side at the 40. Spins his way up near the 44-yard line. John Graves on the carry. Jeff Hall on the tackle for Sheridan. Early fourth quarter. Benton 14 and Sheridan 3. Benton looking for victory number 3. After coming off a great 1989 season with the 4A South Championship, made it all the way to the semifinals before losing to Springdale right here on a cold December night. 10:59 left to play. Third down and 3 for the Panthers. They're on 44. Burton and Bird, the wing backs. Burton in motion. Burton will take the handoff. Left side. Burton 45. Can't break tackles this time as he got it to about the Benton 47-yard line, but this time they wrapped Tommy up.
You know, Larry, you made mention that we lost last year in the semifinals to Springdale, and Springdale ran the wing tee offense, and it was the first time that Benton had seen the wing tee offense, and Coach Fight was so impressed with it that he felt like, well, maybe we need to implement that into our game plan. So that's exactly the reason why they've gone to the wing tee offense. And of course, they brought in Coach Marcus Jones this year. He was a coach at UCA University in Conway, and he was familiar with the wing tee offense. So really they saw last year what the wing tee could do, and then when they had Coach Jones that was familiar with it, they just decided, hey, let's go to it and use it. Plus, they've got some hosses that they can really use off this wing tee, and in Brewer and Daniels and Collett and those young men, several more that their names are leaving me, but the wing tee offense with our personnel is a very good offense to be running.
Burton came up short of the yardage needed for the 1st and 10, so Brian Holter will kick it away once again. Brian had a big 63-yard punt last week at Arkadelphia that really started to get things turned around for the Panthers against the Badgers, and they came away with a 21-7 win. Lim, one of the deep backs for Sheridan. Line of scrimmage, the 47-yard line. Here's the snap to Brian. No rush put on. Nice kick by Brian Holter. And it's going to fair catch call for. The ball drops at the 10, rolls inside the 10, and is down at about the 5-yard line.
That was Michael Grant, Larry, that downed that ball that time. He's the deep snapper on punts and extra points, and really is supposed to be the first man downfield. And he hustled down that time and made a great play, and has put Sheridan deep in their own well, at their 5-yard line, as the PA man said. So that puts Sheridan at a big disadvantage late in the 4th quarter.
10:19 left to play in this final period. Benton on top, 14-3. 5-yard line of Sheridan, the line of scrimmage, as Baker will bring them up. And he brings them up in that wishbone. 1st and 10 at the Sheridan 5. Baker sets them, spins, handoff to Lim, and Lim is going to spin out over the 5, and he got it up here at the 10-yard line. Notice that Sheridan offense pulls the old Dallas Cowboy thing on the offensive line with a set, stand up, set again.
That's exactly right, and sometimes that will pull a team off and get them some extra yardage. Brian Holter that time was playing left linebacker, Larry, and he did a great job. The guard fired out on him, and Brian fought the block off, made a real good tackle to stop him for about a 5-yard gain.
2nd down and 5. Knows that the football is right at the Sheridan 10-yard line. Baker brings his offense to the line of scrimmage on a 2nd down and 5 play. Spins and handoff, and nothing doing this time in the middle of that Benton defensive line, as that play was smashed right at the line of scrimmage. Looks like no gain on the play is Matt Bowen there first for the Panther defense.
Yeah, Matt Bowen and Adam Wright did a great job that time. They just did exactly what they're supposed to on the defensive line. And really the ideal on defense is win, beat your man on the other side. And that's exactly what they did, and they come up successful.
No gain on the previous play. It is 3rd down and 5. Wide man to the right side of the field. Short side for Sheridan. Here's Baker, and he's going to be creamed in his own backfield. Dean Bird getting to him again, as that play never had a chance to develop, as Dean Bird came blowing in and snuffed it out back near the 5-yard line. It was Baker on the carry, but Bird just smothered him.
Dean Bird was not to be denied. He came across then from defensive end and just did an absolutely fantastic job and got to the quarterback for a loss. I think really, Larry, bar anything happening real bad here, we're beginning to take very good control of the ball game.
Should wind up with great field position. Now Sheridan battling not only the Panther defense, the Panther field position, but they're also fighting the clock as we're coming down to 8 minutes left to play, as the Sheridan Yellow Jackets punting from deep in their own territory, rushes on, but a nice kick out of there drives Brewer back to the 45-yard line of Sheridan. Brewer retreats back to the 48, knocked down at the 40-yard line, and a good block.
Alan Bearden's the one that got back there that time, Larry, and it's one of those deals where the punt team man is coming downfield, and Alan Bearden was just zeroing in on him and waited till he turned, and put that shoulder into him and knocked him about 7 yards in the air. So that's the kind of play that a guy will play football for 10 or 15 years and wish that he could make.
And you could hear that block all the way up here in the press box.
Could.
1st and 10, Benton. Ball is inside the 40, call it the 39-yard line of Sheridan as Tommy Burton checks in the backfield for the Panthers. He'll be the wingman to the right side. Rick Daniel in the ball game to the left side. Judd Clyde is at fullback. Brad Collett brings him up in that wing tee, double wing, rather. In motion, Burton. Burton handoff, reverses it to Daniel. Daniel tries to get outside. He'll be stopped at about a yard loss, back near the 41-yard line.
Had just a little bit of a miscue in the backfield that time. Burton didn't get a real good handoff, and he fumbled it just a little bit. And then when he handed the ball off to Rick Daniels, he was a little past him, and the handoffs just weren't real pretty and well developed. And I tell you, Rick Daniels got a pretty good limp on that right leg right now.
He does. Loss on the play of 1 after Justin Allen made the tackle for Sheridan. Panthers look at a 2nd down and 11 from the Jacket 41-yard line. Bird, motion. Bird takes the handoff. Left side, 40. Spins down to about the 36-yard line. Dean Bird on the carry. Michael Sheldon on the tackle.
I tell you, old Dean Bird tonight's really shown to be a pretty good running back. This is the first time this year that he's been used this much at running back, but he's done a great job back there. And we were talking about it a little earlier before the game goes. We don't have a offensive back that has really come forward and just done all of it this year because we've got so blame many that we can put in there.
And they've all looked good tonight when they touch the ball.
They
Judd
sure
Fight,
have.
Tommy Burton, Dean Bird, Rick Daniel. 3rd down and 7 for the Panthers. Burton in motion. Handoff, Rick Daniel. Running room, 35. Rick to 30. Breaks a tackle and spun down at about the 20-yard line. Rick Daniel. Mike Baker had him by the ankles, and if he could have gotten out of the grass, Rick Daniel would have been a goner.
I tell you, Rick Daniels had touchdown on his mind. When he saw that goal line and nobody else was in front of him, that old big stride he's got, he strides about 3.5 yards when he gets into full motion. And the young man that had a hold of him right now, he was probably right then, he was thinking, I hope he don't pull my fingernails off because that's all he had a hold of him with.
That was it. 1st and 10 Panthers at the Sheridan 19-yard line. Bird in the ball game, right side. John Brewer to the left side in the wing, double wing. In motion, Brewer. Collett, snap, handoff, Brewer, right side. Brewer finds a bit of running room. He's inside the 15, piled up as he got it to about the 14-yard line. As the Benton Panthers already with a 14-3 lead. Time running out on Sheridan as the play defensively. Seo Vong and Justin Allen.
Larry, old Michael Grant did a real good job that time blocking it tight end. You've got to hold your block for a long time with this offense, and Michael Grant got his man. He blocked him out to the right side and just stayed with him all the way and allowed that play to work.
2nd down, 5. Panthers, Sheridan 14-yard line. Collett brings him up, double wing. Brewer left side. Brewer in motion. Handoff, Judd Fight up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles left side, and it's going to be wrestled down at about the 10-yard line. Hard running by Judd Fight, but he couldn't break the tackle as he was being chased by 2 defenders, Michael Shelnut, with help from David Butcher.
I'm not real sure what Lou's been feeding old Judd, but whatever it is, it's feeding him pretty good because he hadn't touched the ball tonight, Larry, without getting him a 3, 4, 5-yard gain. He is very, very strong, and you can put him in there and just depend on him to get about a 3 or 4-yard gain every time he touches the ball.
3rd down and 1. Ball just outside the 10. Panthers to the line of scrimmage. Fight at fullback. Double wing set. In motion. Handoff goes to Brewer. Brewer breaks tackles inside the 5. Brewer down to the 2. Maybe got it to the 1-yard line. Oh, he was fighting hard for that goal line stripe.
This is about as pretty an offense as you can see work. They get things going real good and execute real good, and it's a pretty thing to watch to take place.
Michael Shelnut in on the tackle. It'll be 1st and goal for the Panthers as John Brewer is limping off the field, and he's not a very happy man right now.
No, he's not. He's quite a competitor, and John in his heart feels like he could have made it to the end zone that time, but I imagine he got on that ankle, and it's awful sore. He's hurting right now.
1st and goal from just inside the 2 as Collett sets them with Daniel and Graves on the wings. Daniel in motion. Collett, snap, handoff, Fight battling toward the goal line. Touchdown from 2 yards out, Judd Fight. They had him stacked up, Mike, at the line of scrimmage, and he just kept battling and got it into the end zone.
He just does not quit. And I tell you what, Larry, I think he gets that from his mama instead of his daddy. He's the son of Coach Dwight Fight, and his mother's Lou, and both of them are great people, and they've instilled great things into this young man. He's very determined, and I'll tell you, he's played a great ball game tonight. He just will not go down on the first contact.
John Graves will come in to try to add the 21st point for the Panthers out of the hold of Paige Eccles. Touchdown coming with 4:09 left to play in the ball game.
Coach Fight sitting there on the sideline with his arms crossed saying, that's my son, boys. I want y'all to know that.
Here's the kick up for John Graves. It is up and good. Time out on the field with 4:09 left to play in the ball game, and our score, Benton 21, Sheridan 3. Panther football will continue right after this 30-second break. Huh? Yeah.
Bruce, you drink that water.
Is that number 8 back deep? Is it 8? Yeah. Willingham. Back at C.W. Lewis Stadium, Larry Hart along with Mike Woodall. 4:09 left to play as the Panthers now lead at 21-3 following the 2-yard touchdown run by Judd Fight. Reed Kaufman will tee it up at the 40. Willingham back deep for Sheridan. as he'll stand back inside his 10. Reed Kaufman, who handled all the kickoff chores as a sophomore for the Panthers in 1889, approaches the football, gets his foot into it again, and veers off to the right to one of the upbacks at about the 12, 15, 20, far side, 25, 30-yard line, finally knocked out of bounds at about the 32. Blake Jumper down on the field on the coverage on the kick for the Panthers.
Larry, I tell you, I have to say this because the boys deserve credit. Both young men that were down there on that tackle then, well, Darren Adams is a junior, but Blake Jumper's a sophomore. Paige Eccles was down there again. He's a sophomore. And it just shows a real tremendous determination for these young men to want to play football on this football team.
Certainly does. Sheridan has it, 1st and 10. Ball spotted at their own 31-yard line. Lone sets back as Sheridan gets to the line of scrimmage. They want a timeout. Yellow Jackets have taken a timeout with 3:51 left to play in the ball game with a score, Benton 21 and Sheridan 3. Panther football will continue in a moment. Right now, time in for this 30-second break. Hey, boy. How you doing? I'm hot. Yeah. .351 left to play in the ball game. The Jackets have just taken a timeout, and they're in dire straits right now. Mike, is there a Mike? Not Mac. What's wrong with me? They're fighting the clock and the Panther defense.
I've been called a whole lot worse. I'll tell you what I see happening out there right now. We've got Trevor Oswald in at linebacker. He's another sophomore. He's come in to replace Brian Holter.
At that linebacker spot, 1st and 10 for Sheridan. They're on 31. Quick pitch right side goes to Lim. Lim breaks a couple of tackles out to the 30, 35. Finally wrestled down from behind. Nice play defensively by Chris Barton on the tackle right.
I tell you, Larry, Alan Bearden was just a little bit out of position on that play. He come across and played his defensive end pretty good, but what they had done is they had blocked well on down the line there, and the back pursuit did not come up to make the play like they should have. We're having a lot of substitutions in there right now. We got Lamont Boston going in at defensive tackle on the left side for Benton.
2nd down and 4 for the Jackets at their own 36. They're set, line of scrimmage. Handoff goes to Harris as Harris is going to battle his way out near the 45-yard line. Joe Harris on the carry. He'll pick up the 1st and 10 at the 45. Brian Holter back in the ball game. Brian up a little slowly. I believe he's just tired more than anything.
I tell you, he's been going both ways tonight, and he and the young man that blocked him that time and did do a good job of blocking him, they had him a pretty good little laugh there on the ground. So there's a lot of sportsmanship out there in this ball game.
1st and 10, Sheridan at their own 46. Less than 3 minutes left to play. Handoff Lim, left side. He'll be piled up after about a gain of a yard up near the Sheridan 49-yard line. Getting to him first was Dean Bird, coming from his defensive end spot.
I really don't understand. Maybe they just feel like they're not able to do it and they don't want to get beat any worse than what they are, but I really felt like Sheridan would be passing the ball a little bit more in this situation. What they may do is lull us to death with the run and then throw a long bomb on us, so that's something we just have to be aware of.
Well, Willingham has just checked in. The last time he checked in on the offense, he made a good reception for a big gain for the Jackets. He split out to the right side. Play action pass. Baker being rushed by Bearden, being chased by Bearden, gets away from that. Now chased out of bounds at about the 47-yard line as it was Chris Barton up there. Chris Barton finally chased him out of bounds as he was looking for Willingham on the right side, but the pressure proved too much.
Well, we had Rick Daniels back there covering him, and Ian Perry come over from safety and helped on him. So really and truly, he just didn't have any place to go with the ball other than where he went, but he was wise for going out of bounds and stopping the clock.
Out of bounds play will stop the clock with 2:09 left to play. As coming out wide to the right side will be Michael Sheldon on a 3rd down and 9 play. Baker sets his offense. Quick pitch goes to Lim. Left side, Lim at the 50 into Panther territory, down to about the 47-yard line before Adam Wright. And Matt Boyne also there for the Panthers. Ball in Panther territory at about the 47, 48-yard line.
Russ Browning's coming off the field. He looks like he might have got a finger, and I believe that's probably what happened to him. They got Trevor Oswald going in to replace him right now. And Trevor being another one of those sophomores.
Fourth down and about 4 needed for the Yellow Jackets in Benton territory at the Panther 48. Less than 2 minutes left to play. Wishbone formation on the 4th down and 4. Baker spins, handoff as Long will not get the 1st and 10. Looks like there may have been a fumble in there, Mike.
Well, the way that Ian Perry came in there, it looked like it had to be a fumble, because I don't feel like he'd be making a charge like that and taking a chance of getting a late hit. And with that being 4th down, I really don't understand that play call, because the ball goes over to Benton. And but we are going to put our substitute reserve team and our second team in there right now and give them a little bit of work in this ball game.
Well, we'll see a lot of white helmets in there as a lot of sophomores in for the Panthers with a very safe 21-3 lead and just a minute 28 left to play in the ball game. So the Panthers about set to put away their 3rd victory of the 1990 season. As Paige Eccles is in at quarterback. Paige Eccles, sophomore, has him in the wishbone. That's probably what we'll see for the rest of this game out of the Benton offense. Handoff goes to the fullback, first man through on the option. That's Berry in the ball game, and he'll pick up just a couple of tough yards. Shy of the 50, brought down by Jason Ashmead. As Blake Jumper will check in. The Benton offense, as the clock ticks down to 45 seconds left to play in this one. Blake Jumper goes wide to the right side as Paige Eccles brings him up in the wishbone with less than 40 seconds left to play in the game. Eccles sets them, handoff, dive to the fullback to about the 50-yard line. As on the carry was Berry once again on the carry, and he was stopped by Justin Allen.
I tell you, Larry, these old boys like to get their name called out on the radio. We all know that. And really, they've replaced about everybody in there, looks like, except Scott Rivers and Reed Coffin and Bo Chaney. They've pulled their entire right starting offensive line out, and we'll try to pick up who that is and give them a little bit of credit on the radio.
Darren Adams is checked in for the Panthers.
As that
is the end of the ball game with the final score, Benton 21, the Sheridan Yellow Jackets 3. Back with the post-game show. Right now, time in for this 60-second break.
I tell you, they look pretty salty.
Look good.
Yeah, they did.
I shouldn't have done this.
No. Got Brewer's ankle iced down real big.
How long of a wrap-up have y'all been doing?
All 5 minutes.
Can you recap the scoring? You owe me too.
No.